Hey guys, KiwiSylveon, and this is not the game, but I'm going to use it, so fuck you. I'm going to say right now, I'm going to be babbling like nonstop about my canon. If you don't like my canon, alright. If you love it, alright. Just keep your opinions light. And I know that canonically, James, Matthew, Erik, and Damien all have wives. Twyla, Irene, Norrin, and Iridessa, respectively. And that if you go another route, there's Carrie. But that's not in my canon. I love those girls. But they're not my canon, so. Spoiler, this is mine. Okay, first. James, as you've probably watched, he's with Allie, and she is the eldest of the siblings, like he's the eldest of the boys. But Allie is more reserved than James is, except for when it comes to being around, like, the other siblings or him. Then she just is a social butterfly, put it that way. Being the eldest of the siblings, Allie had the more pressure like James had, but I pretty much made her like the female version of James, but not. She does eventually do break up free from her father's hold after the end of Seduce Me 1, where she finally gets a backbone from loving James and being around the boys to tell her father, you know what, fuck off. And so Allie, to me, is like that nerdy girl. And I pointed it out in the episodes with her, that she's nerdy, she does wear glasses, she's like, she's polite, she's shy. But if it's just her and the family of, like, Incubi and her sisters, she's the funniest person you'll ever meet, while also being serious. That's why I see her perfect for James in certain situations, because she will occasionally go back into herself if there need be. Like during the Demon War, like in my version, it's Violet that's trapped there, and Allie is 4 months pregnant with their child, because why not? Add more strain to it. And when she gets trapped, when they're all summoned, their angels, like in James's route, come after Allie for the child for unknown reasons, even to me. Because Allie, she immediately knew something was wrong when she would snap at Diana or Cero whenever either or were in the room. She would snap no matter what. And it's not in her personality to do that. So she had a hunch that something was wrong. And they later find out that it's angels attacking her. And even though Diana and Cero offered help, Allie refused because she felt like it wouldn't matter because it's her problem, not Diana's, because Diana was already focusing on trying to get Violet out of the demon world, so she didn't want to put that pressure on Diana and add to it. So they do eventually follow James's route and take care of the angels after they've let them know that, yeah, there were angels. And what am I saying? By the end of the Demon War, Allie comes to find her true powers. Like, she learns, instead of learning from the advisors, she did learn from Shadow for a little bit, but she immediately went to learn under James, who was willing to help her. And I would think that would be fun, learning under your love interest, seeing them try to be strict with you but also unable to because they love you so much they don't want to go all out. That will bring me to Sam and Violet later, but that's Allie in a nutshell. She's pretty much like less like Iridessa, but she's her own person technically. She's a nerd. She admits it. She's a bookworm. She takes books anywhere. That's how she and James get along so well. And occasionally, she does try to rebel against his little enthrallment, which, if you don't know James, he's into domination and BDSM. So, for her to kind of attempt to go against that, I think it would make it difficult for him to... well, it would turn him on more. That's what I'm trying to say. But the love Allie has for James is not just because of their meeting, but she grows to respect him in that little time. And in her mind, if James wasn't around, no one would be able to take her sisters under their wing and become the big brother to them, like he did in my version of the canon. And yeah, and he does have fun with the sisters too. Now Heidi. I have her as the very, very outgoing sexually wise for sisters. She's not a virgin technically in my canon. She lost it to Andrew. I still love Andrew. Don't get me wrong, he's a sweetheart, but. And she knows she's good. She knows she's good looking. She lets it go. She uses it to her advantage. And one thing she never did was let her heart into it. So every now and then, yeah, she would flirt with boys, and until Erik showed up. Oh boy! In my version, the instant Erik showed up, Heidi felt like, oh god, this is real. I have no comebacks anymore. He can double it. So she would tease, and he'd tease her right back. It was just funny to see, like, when Erik sort of asked if there would be more. I could see Heidi just turning beet red and just looking away, not even being able to respond, because she's never had somebody turn the tables. And Heidi, while she is that way, she does care for her siblings. She cares for everyone, even though she does get on Allie's nerves. She gets on everyone's nerves a little bit with how flirtatious she is. And even after she married Erik, she still has that tendency, but she doesn't mean much. Because in my head, she's a news reporter, she's great at her job, and there's this guy that she works with occasionally, and he thinks that her way of holding herself means she wants to have sex with him. No. And it's Erik that comes in and goes, no, don't you dare touch my queen. Because by then, it's like she does become a queen. And Erik has, like, pet names for all the girls, like, Heidi is Chickadee. I mean, Heidi is Princess, obviously. Allie is Chickadee. Violet is the one that's really annoying to her. He calls her Milady. I know. Erik, Christopher, say Milady a few times. I want to hear it. I'm kidding. Please don't. Jenna is Hummingbird or Bumblebee, depending on what mood she's in. If she's, like, squirming in her seat, she's a hummingbird. Or she's a bumblebee. And hummingbirds when she's just bouncing off the walls. Because, yeah. And then there's Gina, who is Butterfly. And later, he moves the princess to Gina, who's the youngest, and promotes Allie? Hello? I'm getting my canons mixed up. Heidi to Queen. And they always try to make things romantic, but with two sets of siblings that love to cause mischief, it's kind of hard. Kind of hard to. But Allie, hello? Get my brain off the eldest, please. Heidi matures up and just focuses on Erik. And she even teases Sam and Matthew, surprisingly, getting both to just wonder what the heck happened. Now the fun one. My canon with Sam, Violet. Oh my god. I didn't go into it, I think I didn't go into it much with Seduce Me 1 and Seduce Me 2 with her, with the canon route. I think I did, but she's rough, she's very, let's say bitchy, but not. She has a wall that only her sisters can see behind at first. She excelled in taekwondo, karate, any of the physical fighting styles. And, of course, she sucked at math and any academic. But thanks to Allie, she's able to try to keep up with them so they all can graduate. The minute Sam stole her first kiss, her anger flipped on, and she did hit him very hard, like in the game, but she didn't grow attached to him until after Malex took them. She didn't want to be in the same room as Sam because they would butt heads. Well, Sam's a brood demon. She's a pretty stubborn, angry person herself, so anytime they would be in the same room, he'd tease her, but she'd butt heads with him, and it would be hilarious to see the others just laughing, and Violet would, after a few words, walk out and just kind of try to breathe, because at first she didn't want to be around him. But before Malex took them, she finally got to relax a little bit around him. And she did. She was, instead of like asking, she just was like, just take my energy or just go. She wasn't going to go, it's yours if you want it. She's like, take it or go. And she doesn't. She occasionally does call him Sam and Almaris, but she has a great nickname. She either calls him a dork or a doof or a goof, depending on what he did. Mostly 95% of the time she calls him dork, because he's a big dork. And when it came to fights, she would go against Malex if need be. She will feel the need to protect her sisters. And I see her actually landing at 1 or 2 hits on Malex, because she's a human going up against a freaking devil. So I had to give her some credit. But that would come at the cost of her, like, I think she bruised like 3 ribs. And she also had her hands completely wrapped from her fight with the Lizette earlier. Yes, I went there too, but she would go ham on Lizette, to where her knuckles would break open from all the hard punches. And that alone, she would tell Sam that, yeah, I fought a frickin' human before I fought the devil, screw you. And eventually she'd just melt around him to see that he was like her. And Michaela said it, everyone said it, Sam starts out as this asshole who steals your first kiss and is a jerk 24/7 almost, it seems. But then he starts melting around you to show that he can care, he does love somebody, and that becomes a strength in the next game, probably. Yeah, it does. Why am I saying probably? And Violet to him, he knows she can stand on her own. But he knows they're stronger together. And she knows that too. And when it gets to the saucy bits, ooh, they fight for dominance. Because they're both stubborn and they try to make the other beg. But it doesn't work until near the end where it is Sam that holds out. Surprisingly. But not by much. Especially if Violet teases him. Oh boy. Like, I have an instance in my canon story that she does push his button of being called a brute and a monster. But in a playful way to kind of egg him on. And he knows she doesn't mean it. It just works. And she does. Well, that's later on. By the end of the war, not only did she go through with the demon marriage ritual, she also can see that it was worth it to bind her soul to him. Now in the game, Mika doesn't do it because she's unsure, but I can see Violet taking the time in the demon world and meeting Gaku, who's from Sam's memories of him helping him. I can see her talking to Gaku and realizing that it's important to him for the reason that he said. He wants to know if she's alright, and he wants her to know that he's alright. And it would take her by surprise and actually make her want to do it. And they do go through with it, and it's hilarious to see them. Like, afterward, they're just like, now what? So by the time they get married at the end of the game, well, into my story version of the game, they are completely one in all senses. Except for actually being two people. And I can see that if Mika did go through with it, Sam would still ask if he could have energy. He wouldn't be a dick about it and go, give me your energy. He won't turn into his fucking father. Ugh. He will be kind enough and considerate enough to ask. Matthew, the little fluff ball of cuteness. Him and Jenna are perfect identical. Jenna's like always bubbly, going, let's go, and she's always rubbing Violet the wrong way. And it's hilarious. It's like the version of Sam and Matthew, but Violet actually does get away with giving noogies or occasionally messing up the hair out of nowhere. That's just Violet and Jenna. They are opposites. Jenna, she is very childish, but she also can be serious if need be. If the situation requires her to actually act her age, she will. And she will come out with wise words, which would shock the other boys, because they just think of her as, well, a little butterfly hummingbird. Or hummingbird bumblebee. So, and when when Violet's trapped in the demon world, by then, Allie, Jenna, Heidi, and Gina are all married to the boys. They're all there, and Gina and Damien, I'll get to them later. Jenna is the one that figures out that Violet is actually hurt more than she appears. Because in my head, Violet, when she's trapped there, she will not listen to Diana at all. She will go off on her. She will pin her to the wall. And that goes back to what happens in the demon world with Sam and Violet. Violet, when she realizes where she is, I'm going back to Violet, and I'm completely pushing Jenna aside for right now. Violet will go off. She will grab Diana and whatever's closer, she will lift her up despite being a human, because she is stronger. She's a fighter in the human world. And pin her to the nearest surface and glare at her to even stun Diana with how much anger she has. And it would take a lot to get her to, like, release the hold. And she would eventually, without the whole enthrallment or the calm down. She would do it naturally. Just like, okay, fine. And she would not even give her the time of day. She wouldn't respect Diana, even though deep down she knew that Diana was only trying to help, but that's just Violet. She doesn't give a fuck. And she figures everything out, because by then all the girls have had enough training to know what's what in the magic world, like demons and all that, and being able to do that. She would be able to tell that, oh yeah, I'm here under a barrier curse or whatever, and that she would go with the curse to keep the demon lord away for a week, just because it's only fair. And Violet would still try not to show to Diana and them that she understands, but... And she gets trained under Sam, and oh boy. Her training in the human world would magnify with Sam. They're both fighters, so she would slowly increase her normal speed without using her, like, magic or anything. And if she does the same thing you do in Sergeant's route, she does tap into her rage. And it's to a point, sometimes, like one instance, she taps into it and she goes berserk on a poor dummy. And it takes Sam to actually take that a little bit to calm her down. And it surprises him that she has so much in her. And then he understands and he realizes that her dick of a father. So. Now back to Jenna. Jenna does train under Faye, but she only learns the basics like flight and thorns, but then she figures to learn under Matthew, since they're both the same, she'd be able to learn better from him because they are the same person pretty much. And she surprises herself that she can learn better with Matthew than she did with Faye. And she shows it when they're fighting on the way to the castle. And Jenna is just full of energy. I try to get her full of energy, but it's like, my voice doesn't want to do that. Fuck you. Gina, my little bastard, my own version. Yeah, you heard me. She's a bastard. Leave her alone. Gina is very reserved. She is always in a shell. No matter how hard she tries, she can't get out unless she's with Damien or the boys, because she slowly gets to come out of it in the 2 years or whatever before she and Damien are married, 3 months before Violet's taken. She emerges, but not as fast, because her whole life she's had no male influences except for the grandfather who died. And David didn't want anything to do with her because he knew she wasn't his. And later on in my story, he does regret everything. And he does apologize. He does say he will try to be a good dad to her or whatever. Gina's relationship with Damien is so cute. She barely talks to boys as is, so occasionally she wouldn't talk. She would just think, and with Damien's mind reading ability, he would hear all that, and then he would bring it out, and she'd be like, oh, sorry, and she would keep apologizing. And she then learned to come out and talk about it to Damien, and she understood that he was like her. He's the bastard son. She's the bastard daughter. And the fact that Damien brings her out makes me realize that she went through a lot that I put her through. Oh boy. Gina she doesn't know how to hate anybody. Even Lizette, who would always bring up the fact that she's a bastard, that nobody cared for her, and she would trip her. She would do anything to harass her, which would set Violet off. And she never hated Lizette for that. She couldn't hate anybody. But she does get to hate the Demon Lord. Believe me. For not only taking away her sister and trapping her there for a week or whatever, but for all the shit he did to Damien. She would actually grow backbone and actually say that she hates the bastard. And it would stun everybody. She actually trains under Sero, and actually follows through with letting him show Diana that he loves her and that Golden Rose path. She would go through with that and help him and make him see that she's a bastard and she found love with the demon. And she married a demon. And in my story, Damien still has the mind-doing ability, because it's so cute to see him go, you don't have to apologize, or you are more cute than ever, or something like that. And Drunk Damien does make an appearance eventually. I love Drunk Damien. More Drunk Damien, please. And since I follow mostly Sam's route, he does go through the dragon route, and everyone does their own thing. But with Jenna and Matthew, a little surprise pops in. No, not Simon Tabby, and no, not his mother. She winds up getting pregnant. But they don't know until they get back to the human world, and she's 4 months along, and then she's that whole, like, weekday ahead of normal people, because the time difference. And they have the cutest daughter, Amanda. She is so cute. I have her in my head, and it's like, aww. Imagine Matthew's little fluffy curly hair with sky blue eyes. Ugh. It would be so adorable. And James and Ellie have a girl named Elisa, who I decided to honor Orabelle from the game to give her the true name of Orabelle. Because I would see that Diana's unborn unborn sister Orabelle would latch on to the child inside of Allie, and that was who it was. Because Cambions know who they are. Like, they know that they were conceived. They know their parents. They just don't know who they are. But Allie, due to being protected by James and all that, she would be able to think, hey, I got a perfect name. I got everything ready. This child is going to be this. And she would know. And Elisa is adorable too. She has like James's eyes, like the whiskey brown, but there's a little hint of the green, like not enough to be noticeable, but if you look at her in the right light, there's a hint of green. And her hair is just like her daddy's, just big fluffy, or it's like messy but straight like James has it, and it's so pretty. And being Cambias, she does learn faster than humans until 2. Same with Amanda. Those two immediately click, even though Amanda's 3 months younger than her. They click, they become best friends, they're cousins, yay. About I think a few months after the Demon World War, that's when I placed the beach episode of the Seduce Me canon. I placed that after the war, so that way it's like more inspiring. Because by then they have they start on families, they're more relaxed around the others, and all that fun stuff. It's there in Hawaii that Violet gets pregnant too. And I haven't got this far in the story, but she has twins. Yeah. Even rarer chances. It's 10% with human demon. It's like 2.25 or 2.5% chance that they're twins, considering there's no twins ever in the Seduce Me that we know of. So, to put it lightly, they're both shocked when they find out that she's carrying twins. And funny thing is, Sam, he knows she's pregnant, yeah. It takes a while to sink into his head. And when it does, he just collapses and is like, the fuck? But when they find out it's twins, he literally faints. And it's funny to see. I can imagine it. The doctor would be like, you're having twins, you're having a boy and a girl, and they would nod normally, like, okay. And then it would hit them, and they'd look at each other, and both would faint. And it would be funny. Because we know Sam, he's not really faintable, but he would be stunned enough to go, fuck, flunk. Anyway, that's my canons. And canonly, I can see Diana with the Zero, because Diana forever. Fuck you, Michaela, for killing them off in the canon route. And since Diana isn't dead, Sam doesn't take a throne and all that fun stuff. But yeah, there's my canon. Hope you enjoyed my rambling, because I am in love with Seduce Me. If you could see my desktop, it would be the Incubi during that winter holiday one. And my phone has Sam on it. I have issues. Leave me alone. Anyway, I'll be back with the Demon World 2. World 2? Hello? This is not a game. I mean, it is a game, but it's not a Mario game. Hopefully by then I'll have a clear throat. I will see you guys then, and very well, goodbye!